Hello there. This is the Future of Co and You campaign survey that Relic Entertainment have sent out about the upcoming projects they're possibly working on regarding the Company of Heroes series, which is really exciting. And everybody could kind of guess based on Co 1 and Co 2 that maybe they'd be thinking of a sequel soon. And it seems that way based on the surveys they're sending out. So this survey was sent out to set people, I believe, probably on their mailing list or people they have set up, and I'm one of those people seemingly, which is quite nice. I've gotten this survey, and I think it'll be interesting to go through. And if you're not one of the people on their mailing list that hasn't gotten this survey, you can have a look at some of the things they're asking, and it hopefully builds up a little bit of hype for the game and is an insight into Relic and what kind of market research they're doing at the moment, what they might be thinking. I've already had a look through this survey myself. I haven't fully answered it, but I've had a look, and it is intriguing. So none of this is under NDA, by the way. It's all public information. From what I've seen, people have already posted the survey onto the internet. So it's just interesting to have a YouTube video and have somebody such as myself, a caster, 5 or 6 years experience, with giving my thoughts. First question is, which of the following games have you played? Select all that apply. So I've played Total War, Civ, Rise of Nations. That's it, actually. I wanted to play XCOM once, but my PC at the time wouldn't run it, which is a long time ago. Can you recall examples in other games where the campaign map was particularly well or poorly done, and why? I didn't actually answer this one at the time. Retro RTS, better clarity, such as original Westward games. Total War series, better. Total War has a really good way of making you feel like you're part of the world in which the campaign map exhibits. It's got like this kind of very physical approach that's very realistic. Realism, which is great for immersion. That's all I'll put for that one. The next question, please select the statement that most closely applies to how you would like to experience historical events if there was to be a new Company of Heroes game. I want campaigns that are historically accurate, where I must play them in order as they were in history. I want to arrive in historically accurate outcomes in my own way, so like a tactical kind of variance. I want to break historical accuracy, such as winning battles that were historically lost. I have no specific preference. For me, I want to be able to break historical accuracy. I want to be able to play as the Wehrmacht and push the Allies out of their own countries. I want to, play as the evil faction, but I also want to be able to play as the Allies. But also, if it's going to have like a campaign map, I want that to be strategically pleasing to the mind, and I want to be able to feel like I have true choice. Now, anything that I'm saying here, please comment if there's anything you disagree with. I want to hear your personal opinion. If you didn't receive this survey, please feel free to comment on the comment section of this YouTube video. I do know that Relic devs old and new have been known to sometimes look at some of my YouTube videos, so you never know, your thoughts might be seen that way. You never know. The fourth question on this list is, please select the statement most closely applying to how you would like to experience the campaign if there was to be a new CoH. I want to play the campaign that's somewhat linear with side missions. I want to move freely in an area. We could take over territories. Climactic missions are must beat in order to move to the next region. Kind of like Mass Effect in a way. You have to keep in line with a bit of the script, but you are free to do your own side missions, etc. I want to move freely through an entire region and select the missions and take over territories. I have no specific preference. For me, personally, I'm torn between wanting to see those cool anthemic cinematic experiences that really have to be well written and designed and scripted, but also I like the idea of freedom, so I'm going to hit it straight down the middle there. And for example, if they were to do, for example, North Africa, you could have a massive campaign map with the Commonwealth and the Wehrmacht with Italians in these huge flanking battles where you have to really think strategically about where your supply lines are and where you are at any one moment. But also then you could have scripted missions such as historical battles that took place, such as the defence of Tripoli, or maybe the Fallschirmjägers landing in Crete in the Mediterranean. Something like that. Please select the statement that most closely applies to your preference regarding quantity and duration of army-specific campaigns. I prefer more army-specific campaigns but fewer missions. I prefer an even mix of army-specific campaigns and missions. I prefer more missions but fewer single army campaigns. Well, for me, personally, I want to strike that down the middle. I want to be able to play as 2, and I want a lot of depth. So I don't want like 3 or 4 factions, because that I don't foresee Relic being able to do that anyway, based on past experiences. I would go down the middle again on that one. How important are the following campaign features to you? So left is not important, right is extremely important. Ability to set up spy network and use recon abilities, that's really cool. Multiple army specific campaigns. Okay, that's very important. I want 2 at least. Managing battles on multiple fronts of average importance. I mean, multiple fronts is great, but 1 front to me is enough as long as it's wide and there's a bit of variety, in honesty. Sabotage can be done to cripple enemy buildings, roads, or companies. Well, that's pretty good. I like that. Resources on territories to attack and defend. Yes, I think that's extremely important. I want the strategic map to have fuel, to have ports, to have things you have to capture, and then that helps you on a lot. Challenging AI opponent is important. Scripted missions. Now because I'm getting into the mode of really liking this open world game, scripted missions for me are becoming less important. Dynamic missions, very important. Cooperative has to be there. Company specialization. To be honest, if it's just armour company, infantry company and airborne, I'm not overwhelmed by that. I just think it's pretty good. Structure and defensive building on territories, tank traps, artillery. I like the sound of having that kind of strategy. Yes, that sounds amazing. Freedom of mission selection, amazing. We need it. Economy investment to generate resources, it's fundamental to RTS. Pop-up events, dynamic side missions. Oof. Oh, you got to have some of that. Naval and air forces on the campaign map. Oh, come on. I just really want that. I'm sorry. I know that's not a necessity, but for me, I want to see a new dimension added to Company of Heroes some way. Companies that can permanently die. Yeah, I'm not bothered by that. That doesn't... veterancy attached... Yes, veterancy is important. Has to have persistence. Upgrading buildings and defences. Not that bothered. Company upgrading. Grant new... Blah, blah, blah. Not that important. I could see that going... I like customising things, but I'd rather attain things through the resource mechanics inherent to the campaign, in all honesty. Morale mechanics, if there was to be a new Company of Heroes, how important are they? To me, morale mechanics, so this is like, are your units ready to fire or have they been battered into submission? Very similar to Ardennes assaults in that regard. I think they're important. And I think that if you've got one... But I think it should be veterancy, not morale. I think by association, veterancy should be morale. So I think it's important, but I would rather veterancy is the most important core mechanic. Can you tell us why I can't... I believe veterancy should take utmost preference. Therefore, morale isn't as important. Oh, can I spell tonight? There you go. That's, yeah, veterancy isn't a word apparently. 9. We're looking at settings theatres. Blah, 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 blah. Please select up to 3 campaign areas that are most appealing to you if there was to be a new Company of Heroes game. Right, for me, Libya is where you had the huge tank battles with Rommel in the west and a lot of British generals, but then famously Montgomery in the east, and they pushed one another to and fro throughout Libya, and it gave some really cool flanking moments and some great overstretching the supply lines, but really being aggressive for the Wehrmacht. I think in the rest of the European theatre, it's a very weakened Wehrmacht with, especially in Italy, like reservist forces or guys that are meant to be on leave from the Eastern Front pulled into fighting in Italy. And yeah, it's great, but I think Libya is very pleasing strategically. Tunisia, that's pretty much when Rommel was beaten and was getting resoundingly pushed away, and there was that big push to the coast. I think that's cool. Sicily Now, Sicily is great for cooperative campaigns because that had the Brits and the Americans acting as true equals. Montgomery versus Patton in a race to capture the main objectives of Sicily. That's a really cool campaign. Italy, very defensive. Southern France, I don't know enough about. So for me, it goes in this order: Libya, Sicily, and then I would say probably Tunisia, just because I really, really want to see those SAS night missions for the British, and cool scenario that we've never seen before. I really think it'd be a breath of fresh air and a huge selling point for Company of Heroes, so that's what I'd go for. Why have you selected the following campaign areas? New and diverse scenario, SAS night missions, flanking warfare, a morally disambiguous Wehrmacht, Rommel, so Rommel, etc. So morally disambiguous Wehrmacht, they weren't actually they weren't that shitty in North Africa, in all honesty. There wasn't the whole executing POWs en masse or subjugating populations. It was mostly quite chivalrous compared to the rest of World War II. So you could really do Libya and fight as the Wehrmacht and have no problems from a marketing standpoint. And that's three things. There's more I could add to that. Which theatre would you consider these areas to be a part of? Sicily, Tunisia, Libya. That's the Mediterranean theatre. That is historically accurate. I know my stuff when it comes to like an amateur understanding of World War II. Theatre, meet your expectations for a campaign if there was to be a new Company of Heroes game. Yes. I'd be happy with that. I think you could do a lot with it. A lot could be done with this. It'd be fresh and exciting. Which historical events spring to mind with this theatre, if any at all? Defence of Tripoli. Alamein. Oh, God, I have to spell that. Dear God, I butchered that. God, it didn't even let me say Alamein. Oh, there you go. There you go. I've got it now. Thank you. It's an E. Maths. Jesus Christ, that was terrible spelling. Alamein. Montgomery versus Rommel. Warfare. Chivalry. God, my spelling's terrible. I've been had a full day at work, if you can't tell. Chivalry. This must be really... There you go. It kicked in for me eventually. That'll do. How important are visually different environments to you? Very important. I want to see a bit of Sicily in this campaign. I want to see a little bit of green. I want to see the Americans come in towards the end, maybe. Who knows? Please select your top 3 armies. British... German. Italian's not there. Oh, Royal Italian is there. So I want to see the Italians backing the Germans. I want to see them part of the German army. The Americans weren't really part of North Africa. They did help towards the end in Tunisia with Operation Torch, and then obviously they were fundamental to everything else on the central or western fronts. But they would add flavour in my mind too at this particular game. But if Relic can't sell that, that's not my problem. This is what I want to see. What is the likelihood that you purchase a game featuring the following? Definitely will purchase. I'd put my order in now. Right, let's carry on. For these questions, we would like to understand what you prefer in the games you play. When answering, think specifically about games you seek out and buy and play, and rate how much each of the following statements applies to you. Games where progression and rewards are more immediate. I like being rewarded. Seek games that have fantastical settings or plots of little importance. I seek games that I can enjoy while practicing, without practicing skills. I like skillful games. I seek games where I can play alone. I do. I seek games where I compete with others. I do. I seek games that are peaceful. Well, obviously not. I like conflict. I seek games where I must work to progress and achieve my goals. Yes. I seek games where there are realistic settings or plots. Yes. I seek games that focus on exploration and discovery of their world. I used to when I was a kid, but I'm not bothered anymore. I seek games where I can play with or against other people. Yeah, I play multiplayer. I seek games that focus on building and creating. I've played a lot of games that do that in the past, I can't lie. I seek games that allow me to master skills. Yes. That are mechanics rules are deep and complex. Yes, as a caster, I really do. Mechanics rules blend seamlessly. Oh, they have to. I think that's what makes Company Heroes great. So Company Heroes blends seamlessly into the setting and context. I seek games that are intense. I really do. And I seek games where I cooperate with others. I do like it. I did say it up here, but I don't want to say it again. How likely is that you would recommend the Company Heroes series to a friend or colleague? I've done it all my life, it seems. There you go. So that is the survey. And there's a lizard. A chameleon almost. It is a chameleon, even though it's called Survey Monkey. I don't quite understand that. But thank you for watching. Sorry I've not been able to do any strategic Zoomcast recently. I've been very busy with a new job and my exam revision. It's really been taken out of me. But hopefully I provided a service to everybody that's not had the survey. And if not, I hope you found my views interesting. As always, very eager to hear your opinions in the comment section below. Thank you and goodbye.